Hi, I'm James Schillinglaw, and I'm here at the Signature Owners Meeting in Nashville. This is the first one in almost 3 years, and we've missed it. And I'm here with Alex Sharp, who's president and CEO of Signature Travel Network. And I think everybody is so happy to be back and operating. And we got some really good news from all the Signature members. And we're going to talk about that and more on Insider Travel Report. Now, Alex, first of all, it is great to be back with you live. We've done, as we were talking about, we've done some Zooms, and now
Zoom. I'm done with Zoom.
We're done with Zoom, so no more Zoom. We can do a little bit of Zoom.
We need to be in person, right? We need to be in person, and the Zoom is a nice extra, but it can't be the only thing we're doing anymore. And so we're happy to be back here. Absolutely.
So that was the biggest thing, let's talk about the big question, and we've talked about this before. How has Signature kind of emerged from this pandemic, and now we have other issues like recession, war? I think the gist of it is you got through the pandemic, which was the worst of it, and now these other things are, as you said, what are those? They're not gonna keep us from traveling again.
Well, nothing compares to what we just all went through in the pandemic. There are headwinds for sure, right? The recession, war in Ukraine. There's service issues. There's staffing issues. There's all those things. But nothing is keeping us from the progress that the industry is making moving forward. The overwhelming, pent-up demand and excitement about getting out again is overwhelming all of those other things that we could talk about, but I don't really want to anymore. Right. Someone asked me, what do you think about, the pandemic, or what do you think about the recession, or what do you think about this? And I said, those are baby issues compared to what we went through, right? And they really aren't having a significant effect on our business right now because there is such incredible demand.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things but you got through the crisis, you survived, you had to do some things, and I know a lot of your members had to do things, but what were some of the key things that you did to get through the last 2-3 years?
Well, I think the best thing for us was that we are, as a cooperative, we work for our owners. Right. We're owned by our owners. Right. And so our recession plan, which certainly did not have a pandemic in mind, but it was a start. Our recession plan has always been, we do more through a recession for our members because they're going to need us more. Right. They might have to lay off a marketing person, which means we have to do more marketing for them. They might lay off a client-based person or a training person. So we always expected to do more through the pandemic. Mm-hmm. It wasn't about trying to save our P&L, it was about trying to save our 210 members. Right. And so with that mindset, it really put us in a position to serve. It gave us purpose. As weird as it was, and it was tough to get our head around it, and it just kept going and going and going, we had a purpose. And that was to help our members, to fight for our members. And so when we went through this, it really, I think the number one thing I learned was there was so much talent in our network with our members. Things that we never knew before. Members who were auditors in previous lifetimes, right? And helped guide us through PPP and ERC and all these different things that were lifelines for small business owners. And so we leaned on each other. And sometimes in adversity, you have to. And you have no choice. And so we came out of this, I believe, so much stronger. I think people on the outside saw what was happening in our network, seeing the camaraderie, seeing the support between members and with Signature and the members, that it naturally attracted more members and new members.
We're going to talk about that too, but I think what you said in the session today was that you kind of reshaped your team. You actually doubled down on marketing and especially digital marketing, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. So we did have to reshape the team. We thankfully didn't have to lay off a lot of people. We had to do some layoffs and reorganize, but it was about how do we double down on member support? How do we double down on partner support? Because that's where, the partners are the ones that help fund the activities, and the members are the ones that needed us the most at that time. So one of the things, to your point, was that we really expanded our electronic marketing initiatives. We broadened that portfolio tremendously, which allowed us to grow the amount of revenue, but more importantly for members, it gave us more tools that were readily available, that partners could invest in. We started with inspirational messages, then it became informational messages, and by the end, it's been a lot of tactical marketing, right?
That's good. Now you can sell travel, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the other thing is, of course, with your own members, you had to do some things too, because there was a lot of, you didn't lose a lot, but there was a lot of reorganization. People dropped out, they sold their agencies, they became independent contractors, and you kind of facilitated that, right?
We did. We're fortunate with a couple of hundred members. We know them, right? We know them, we know their families, we know their businesses, their strengths, their weaknesses. We're partners with them. So, when people came to us and said, hey, I'm looking for a partner like this, I'm looking for an agency to go to like that, we were able to help matchmake. Right. And then our members are so close with each other, it was natural, right? They went to people that they knew. And so we did have a fair amount of consolidation. We had very few closures, but we had a fair amount of consolidation, whether it be agencies being absorbed by other agencies or smaller agencies becoming independent contractors. Right. And it helped us retain the business, but more importantly, I think it helped us retain the people.
Yeah, well, that's most important now. But overall, I think you really didn't lose in numbers. You didn't lose a lot. And in fact, you just had an announcement that you had like 39 new members join this year, right?
No, it's not this year. It's 39 through the pandemic, which probably doesn't sound like a lot for some of these big networks that have thousands of members. For us, it's significant. The 39 new members is certainly more than we would have ever brought on before. But we're only about 10 members bigger than we were before the pandemic. And what we're looking for in members is culture, right? Do they fit? Are they the right people? Do they want to share? How do they make us better? How do we make them better? And that's really what it's all about. And so we've been very fortunate.
Well, you also had a great, in getting Cruise Planners to join, which was a huge agency from American Express, because American Express has stopped the retail network. So those agencies had to go find new homes, and Cruise Planners found you as a home.
Yeah. No, having Michelle and the Cruise Planners team is certainly exciting. I mean, heck, earlier in the pandemic, though, we brought on Arivia, which is a tremendous agency. We brought on TPI. But I'm most excited about the people, truly. I mean, we brought on agencies that were $5 and $10 million agencies. But the halo effect, the people that they are, the way they carry themselves, what they mean in this industry, and how they'll contribute to the network is far more important than even the production. Mm-hmm. The production will come, and it's really less about the overall production, more about the opportunity to grow. Right. And that's what we're focused on.
That's fantastic. And talk about the opportunity to grow, because you did give sort of a business update on where the business is, where it's coming from, and you kind of went through everything. I mean, so how has been business this year in terms of, let's start out with hotels. How's that gone?
Yeah, hotels has been tremendous. Certainly it's buoyed by rates going through the roof. So you can sell less and end up with more in terms of total sales. But we've actually outpaced 2019 over the last couple of months. The second quarter of 2022 was our best booking month ever for hotels. And it's only getting better. July and August were better numbers. And again, it's inflated a little bit by great rates, but it's also the world's opening. People want to get out there. And I think during the pandemic, one of the other real treats of it was, advisors have never been more needed by consumers. Absolutely. And so, maybe even a long weekend, at a resort, they would have booked it themselves. Now they're saying, hey, I want to use my travel advisor. So we were able to capture more of that, near to home, luxury leisure business, which is important. And I keep harping to the owners that we have to make sure we keep it, right? We want their whole share wallet. We want all their travel dollars to be booked through these advisors.
Right. And of course, now we can turn from hotel specifically, which is land, but the rest of land, tours and other kind of vacations. I think you've seen a boost in that, because that was one product people could sell back over the past few years.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the wholesalers were the big winners through this. The Sun and Sand, Mexico, Caribbean, Hawaii, they were the big winners. Folks who maybe didn't sell a lot through them before had to turn their focus to it because that's what consumers wanted. But we've also seen great lift in other areas. Active Adventure has been great. Of course, private homes and villas.
Which is a big market that kind of erupted over this because people wanted to be with their families and be together, right?
Absolutely. I mean, some of these villas, it was a great way to be self-contained, to explore and do something different and get out of the darn house, right? Yeah. So that part has also grown. But now, as we get into, kind of this third quarter, we're seeing tremendous bookings, FIT bookings to Europe. All the different channels are coming back and coming back strong.
And in fact, one of the things was during the pandemic, domestic was strong, but then in the last 2 months, in the last 6 months this year, Europe and places like that have just gone off the charts, right?
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, I think the hardest thing right now is managing the short-term demand. Mm-hmm. There's partners out there that if you can't book something within 60 days or 90 days. And that's frustrating for consumers because now they're ready to go. But the good news is when you're working with a great advisor, they're going to find that property, or they're going to find a great alternative for you. So our people are working harder than ever.
That was one of the challenges. They're working much harder, but they're finally earning money. Now, the last category is dear to your heart, given your background, cruising. And we didn't sell cruises for 2 years, and now it's really coming back strong. Right?
Well, the challenge was we sold them, and then we canceled them, and then we sold them, and then we canceled them.
Well, you got to do about a transaction like 4 times before you finally saw some money.
Yeah, it was difficult. There was some great support from cruise partners, which was certainly heartening at a time that must have been miserable for all of them, trying to figure out when they could restart and how they would restart. But the business has come back. We'll end up, right now we're up for the year, but some of that's new membership. I think most members will end up in the 75 to 90% range of their 2019 cruise sales, which is tremendous when you think about the slow start at the beginning of the year, the diminished capacity in some cases where, cruise lines for a long time didn't have full staffs, or they didn't want to manage a full ship yet because of COVID. And even now they're saying, gosh, our service levels were so great for the last few months because we had lower capacities that we want to maintain that. So we're going to take cabins out of inventory, and we're going to add more staff so that we can maintain these incredible service levels. So, we still don't have full fleets to sell. So to have the success that we've had, not just in 22, which is important because people need revenue today, but 23, 24, and 25, I mean, it's incredible. We got a call from one of our partners who launched 24, 25 sailings. In the first 36 hours they were open, we sold $15 million in business.
That's amazing.
I mean, who thought that I'm trying to figure out next week. These folks are planning 24 and 25. It really is tremendous.
Although I got to say, I think one of the things when people thought 22 would be an okay year, but not a great one, but it's actually turned out to be pretty good.
It has. I mean, the lifting of the restrictions and just in the last, 30 to 60 days has changed the business. In some ways, I warn people, I think we have to be a little bit careful, and partners have to be a little bit careful that we don't focus too much on finishing the year strong. Right. That we have to keep our eyes up and look on the horizon, make sure, quarter 1 and quarter 2 of 2023 are strong and then beyond. The other thing is I think, the cruise booking cycle is probably different. It might be different for years to come.
Yeah, I think it is going to be.
I don't know what wave's going to look like. Do we wait for January to promote things? Do we just hit it now? So I think from a marketing perspective, we're going to be a little scattered. Cruise lines, tour operators trying to figure out and get their cadence back for when they open, how they do those things. But heck, it's booking, right? And that's exciting.
That's the most thing. And then you had a few slides up in your presentation about overall.
You watched the whole presentation.
I did. I was taking notes.
You're a reporter.
I know. Hard to believe. I didn't even fall asleep. It was great. And I was up quite late last night.
Nice. I saw you dancing. So the slides that we put up, what question did you have?
The question, that was the slides. The question is, overall, your members, you had some slides that said your members were really, compared to which is the 2019 comparison, that they're almost back.
Oh, for sure. When we look at 2019, an average member at Signature is 100% of their 2019 land sales, right. 75% of their 2019 year-end cruise sales. And for 2023, they're already at 50% of where we finished 2019. Okay. So, as I said to them, this all sounds good, but we still have billions to sell. Yeah. Billions. So the job is not done. We have a lot of work ahead of us and a lot of great opportunity.
Now, my last question for you is, overall, and you answered this a little before, but what lesson or lessons did you really learn during this period, both for you as an organization and about your members?
Yeah, I think our theme this year is together. I think that's probably been at some level our theme forever here at Signature. But we are stronger together, right? And we have to lean on each other. I think folks really understood that through the pandemic. Whether it was a pat on the back or a validation, I joke, right, with my kids. I tell them they need to do something. This is really important. Right. They kind of slough me off. Their buddy tells them, hey, this is really good, this has worked for me. They're the coach or some other voice, and they think, gosh, that's the gospel, right? I'm here. And so I think they need that validation from their peers. Hey, this is working for me. Right. That's why you heard a lot of the presentations today focused on best practices, right? Those success stories. And I think that's really encouraged people and pushed them forward through this pandemic. And I want to keep that attitude and environment, right, as we move forward, because it has made us so much stronger and better for it.
Absolutely. Well, Alex, I'm overjoyed to be back here with you. First owners meeting, and then you're also going to follow that up very soon in November with your sales conference, the traditional conference that hopefully I'll get there too. I'll see what happens.
So.
I'd love to go back to Vegas. But it's been a great sort of validation that we are back. I have gone to a lot of conferences in the past year, true, but I was looking forward to this one, especially since we had not seen you for a few years.
Yeah, no, we're excited.
We had seen you. We've seen you on Zoom, but we're not going to count that, right?
I might look better in Zoom. You can put filters on and fix things, but it's great to be here. It's great to be back. We too have had some events through the years, but the owners meeting has always been super special, and so to be back here for the first time in 3 years is tremendous.
Fantastic. There you got it from Alex himself, from Signature Travel Network here in Nashville. It's been a great meeting so far. I got one more day to go, and I'm James Shillinglaw for Insider Travel Report.